What is up, Internet? This is Alex. Welcome to the first episode of the Self-Proclaimed Podcast. This is a podcast that my friend Josh and I do where we mostly talk about video games, but we also talk about subjects that we're interested in or social things. That's what's going on in society, things like that. And then we, of course, pretend to be experts on them and give our opinion, which is 100% fact-checked, guaranteed. Thanks for stopping by, though. If you have any suggestions after listening or have any ideas on how to make it more engaging, more fun for the listener, that sort of thing, please let us know. We're always looking to improve, and this being the first podcast, it will be a little rough, maybe some audio glitches, things like that. But overall, we hope you enjoy, and thanks for stopping by. Okay. All right, I wrote here. Check this out. This is a little. I'm gonna screw this up, but this is our little jingle for the beginning. Okay, you ready?
Okay, I'm in it.
And that's it. Welcome to this self-proclaimed podcast.
In it. I like it.
Should we introduce ourselves so that people know if they don't know who we are, they will now know who we are?
Yeah.
Go.
Hi. I'm me.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm Josh, and I go to school.
Hey, Josh, what do you do, Josh? What do you
Yeah, I work for Geek Squad, and I like games.
Okay, so now you're gonna get doxxed because they know where you work. They know where you work. They know your first name.
Okay.
So
instead, I'm Beefy, and I have a cat.
What's your cat's name?
It's not important because I'll get doxxed.
From your cat? Okay. What do you so obviously I think one of the things that you and I have in common mostly is that we both love video games, or at least
Absolutely.
Yep. So when did you first start playing games? Like, how old were you, do you think?
I was a wee lad. The first game I remember playing was Donkey Kong Country for the SNES.
The SNES, awesome.
The SNES.
How old do you think you were?
Fuck. Probably 4? 3 or 4?
Okay.
Yeah. My cousin had an NES and he lived down the street, so we played Mario, Duck Hunt, and McDonald's. It was a McDonald's game. It's dope.
Oh, the McKids. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. That was a crazy game. It's such crazy mechanics that I just didn't think about.
So I started around the same age. I'm a little bit older than you, I think, but I started when I was 3 years old, and I played Mario, the very first Mario for the NES.
Yeah.
And my parents tell me that I actually beat the game when I was 3 or 4 years old. I don't know if that's true or not.
Wow.
I don't remember. You
probably used the tunnels. You cheated.
Dude, I probably did. I probably just used the warp pipes and
warp pipes.
But yeah, then so after Mario, I played Metroid and all the NES games. And I actually remember renting that McKids game, and it was so different from Mario because you could pick up the basically do that upside down thing where gravity was in Earth, and you would go to and it was I was like, what the? It was crazy. It just coming from such a rigid platformer to go into that, it was pretty cool. I mean, the game's kind of trash overall. It's not.
What? I don't think it was trash. There's things you couldn't do. What I liked about it is you couldn't do certain things in certain worlds because the blocks were missing. And they had a color outline of the blocks missing. So you had to go find the blocks and put them in place, and then all the blocks in the world with that color got filled up. So you can go back and do other stuff.
But that's kind of well, oh my god, then that's in Super Mario World as well. So maybe they stole that from them because.
Super Mario and SNES.
Yeah, Super Mario and the SNES. Remember how you had the color blocks? Yeah.
But,
so
exactly. Yeah.
So that's interesting. I didn't know that. Like I said, I don't remember super details about the game. I just remember the gravity thing, like going upside down. That blew my mind. That was awesome. Well, that's cool. Okay, so we started about like the same age as far as, and then like Super Nintendo was a huge part of my childhood too. I got like Donkey Kong Country 2. So there's like Super Metroid. There's so many games that I love for the Super Nintendo. Is there if you had to, I don't know if this is a hard question for me, but if you had to pick one game that you would say is your favorite, I think you've told me this before maybe, but what would it be?
of all time, or like okay, so like a singular game or a like
Yeah, see,
a franchise.
that's what's so hard about the question, because I think like as you get older, like different games define different parts of your life. You know what I mean?
Yes, 100%.
So, like when I was a kid, like especially the Super Nintendo era, like I'll call it, like Super Metroid was the game that defined that for me. It was just perfect as a Metroidvania game type could be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's do that. So like when you were a kid, like what game just blew you away?
So there's two games that come to mind. One was Mega Man X, the first one.
Okay.
That was super solid. Everything about that, there was like a story to it. Because like Mario didn't really have a story, and Mega Man X did.
Did it have like I thought? Well,
Yeah,
Mega Man in general did. I think he was always like a. What was he made for? He was a robot. What?
He was meant to help Dr. Light do stuff, and then like, but see, Mega Man X was different. Mega Man X was even about Dr. Light. It was like way future, in the way future.
Right. Okay.
And he's a Maverick hunter because there's robots that went bad.
He just got it out of control, and then yeah. Okay, I think I remember.
They went Maverick and they killed him, or he went to go hunt them down. And then another game that I liked too. I forgot what it's called, but it's some clay game.
Clay
it's like kind of like no, not Clay Fighter. Clay Fighter was fun, but it's this game where you're a kid. He turns into like something happened. He turned into a ball of clay, and he could turn into different animals. And it was a very different platformer because some animals could like swim, you could fly. One could climb up walls because it was a cat. And
this was for Super Nintendo.
This was for Super Nintendo.
What the hell? I haven't even heard of that.
I remember I had it because I rented it from a place, but then the place closed down before I could give it back. So I got to keep the game.
Was it called Claymates? I think it's called Claymates.
Yes.
Yeah, I just found a YouTube video of it.
Yep, Claymates. That game was. I remember playing that game for hours, and forever, really, because I couldn't beat us as a dumb little kid.
Yeah, I think I played this. I think I played this too. This was the same company that made Clay Fighter. Did you play that?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They play Clay Fighters. I played the clown and just jumped around forever.
The what?
They play the clown in Clay Fighter.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know. Sure.
Yeah, I would just jump and,
Yeah.
and just keep jumping. I would never land down. I don't know why. I thought that was fun. I'd lose the game still.
I love the blob character. He was just like a blob of goo, and you could do like like buzzsaw was the thing I always used to do. That game was cool as shit. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, it's so cool that like when we were kids, obviously, I'm pretty sure you didn't have the internet. Like especially if you're playing Super Nintendo, you're not. It's not multiplayer or anything. So all these experiences you have are just you, unless you have like brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? Like sharing that with them.
Yeah.
But it's cool to like know that other people have played these games and that they've experienced things like you have. It's just I don't know. It's a cool feeling. Like
no, yeah. It's a singular experience, and so when you talk to someone about it, you can like. What's funny is you can say something like, "Oh yeah, like in Pokemon, the Mew underneath the truck, whatever." There's no way to find out if it was true or not.
Yeah. It's like someone would come up with a crazy claim, and you're like, "No way." And you couldn't fact check that. You're just like take their word for it. You're at school or something.
Well, there's like legends. There were legends back in the playground with the kids who played games, and there's myths, and you couldn't debunk it.
Yeah, I also think too that games. Maybe this is just a symptom of what we're talking about. How it's like a singular experience, and then you share it with other people, but. You would have like different experiences playing the game. Like you would see different things. Like you would say, like, oh, do you remember that part where this happened? And you're like, oh, that didn't happen for me. But maybe you just missed it, or like maybe that you weren't paying attention enough.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because the games were designed that way, like they were more carefully crafted, or it's like I said, just because you couldn't look something up online, like where is this or
yeah.
It's just things have changed a lot since.
Well, yeah, a lot of it has to do with ease of access now.
Yeah, with information. Is that what you mean? Just like the...
Well, it's not just the information, because like how games aren't singular anymore. It has to be relatable. It's not like back then. Even now still, but more so back then. The games were like it's a product of love, of their creator's individuality and them telling them their own story. And I feel like now a lot of things now are just more of has to be relatable. It's because the audience is wider now.
So you think that like obviously this goes back to like probably a business perspective. You have publishers who need to make money off of these games that they're publishing. Mm-hmm. So the developer has to basically try to make that game as widely liked as possible. Is that what you mean? Like it has to, I agree. Yeah. And that's why, you see Call of Duty every year and you see Assassin's Creed games every 2 years. It's just they rehash the same ideas over and over again because generally they make money off of those ideas. And it's very rare that you get a new IP, like a new game or anything that does well. And then it sucks when they don't do well, like because you can have a new IP and have it be a bad IP. Like there's unique games that come out that just aren't good games. Like they're either mechanically not good, or they're not interesting enough to hold your attention, whatever it might be, and they fail. And then these companies are like, oh, we can't do that again because that game failed. And I think they conflate it being a new IP with it failing, whereas it's just a bad game. Like if this game was good and a new IP, it would have done completely well, but because it was a bad game, that's why it failed. So
and just because, and that's the thing about the truth, because the game is successful, like at a financial standpoint, doesn't mean it's not a good game, and that's what sucks.
Is not successful, is what you said?
Yeah, because just financially successful means it's not a good game.
True,
it could be an amazing game, but just wasn't hyped. Wasn't talked about, wasn't commercially advertised as much as the new Call of Duty, whatever. Well, obviously, it's a completely different budgets between like an indie game or a smaller team versus like such a big giant like Activision.
Well, do you think that I do agree with that. There are definitely games that have come out that are good games, like objectively good games. They just haven't received the attention they deserve, but at the same time, these days, I think with like Twitch and social media and like Let's Plays and things like that, you have a better chance of having your game seen without any advertising at all. Like that's kind of how Binding of Isaac got its huge appeal. Was Edmund released it, like he worked on it for like 3 months or whatever, released it, and he wasn't really, looking to make a shitload of money off of it. Yeah. And he didn't for a while. Like for a while, it was just, a small game, but then all of a sudden, like people started playing it on Twitch, and it blew up like almost overnight. He said so. I think
is that mostly? You say it's cool, but is that as much a positive thing then? Because then what that it was a good thing for him. Absolutely, that's amazing. And Binding Isaac is a great game, fantastic game. But when I see stuff like that, it kind of I would feel like it was a good. Another developer, a small-time developer or independent developer, would see that and then focus entirely on that. And then when stuff like that happens, I feel like it's a one-off. Because I also play Binding Isaac. I also play it to this day. But there's other games that were like, just blew up and died immediately, and they made the cash as a cash out, or the phrase. I don't think the phrase for it, but like one game I thought was really interesting was Domina. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like a gladiator game, and it had Twitch features. It built it into it to help vote for stuff or whatever and get in-game stuff for the player, which was cool. I like community-driven stuff like that. But then, no one's playing Domina anymore. No one's streaming it anymore.
But but why do you think that is though? Is that because it's not a good game, or like what is
it was a flavor of the month? Okay, and that's how it was aimed. That's how it was created. At least when I played it myself, a lot of content was kind of locked, or not content, but like there was disadvantage for me not being a big time streamer thing, because streamer guys got steamroll the game because of all the votes, whatever they got.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But let's say I couldn't play. I could still play, and I still play once in a while. But it comes down where a lot of games, I feel like recently in the last couple of years, have their flavor of the months, where it comes out, it gets a good following for a little bit, and then dies down. But that also comes into play with the it's the market or I guess the market was flooded with a bunch of all these games constantly coming out. Like,
yeah, but at the same time, I think that there's something. Maybe these games are what I'm going to call it middleware. So back when, like when we played the Super Nintendo, right? There was a lot of like I said, I'll call them middleware games where they weren't hits and they weren't terrible games. They were like in this like sweet spot. Like one of them I can think of was a game called Bob. Did you play that for Super Nintendo?
No.
You're like a robot guy and you have to go save your girlfriend, and she's like your car crashes. You're on the way to a date. No, I'm sorry. You're on the way to a date with her, and then your car crashes on this alien planet, and then you have to make your way through levels like trying to get back to your girlfriend.
No, that's super cool. Though.
Yeah, it was super cool, but it wasn't like a hit. Like it wasn't like Mario or Donkey Kong. You know what I mean? But it needed to exist in that like transition between those games. So, you're playing that while you're waiting for like Donkey Kong to come out or whatever it is, or Mega Man, whatever the next game is.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the games like you're talking about. That's what they sound like to me. They sound like flavor of the week or month, but at the same time, is that a good thing? Because aren't they filling like a void in between larger games? Would you say that's true, or do you think they're generally just like one-shot things and then they're done?
So, because I say that's a cool thing as a consumer or as a player, as a gamer, because I'm waiting. Because myself, first in real life, right now, there's always games I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for it to come out. In the meantime, I'm just buying the time by playing this game or that game, and that's cool because it fills the void. But as a developer standpoint, I don't want to be the filler.
Well, no one does. Trust me. Like any game that I ever make, I don't want to be the filler. I don't want to be like hey, I played Alex's game for a week. It was fun. Back to this game. Like it doesn't feel good. But I think it's, I don't know. Like these days, it's so hard to keep people's attention with something. Like even we talked about this the other day, where, you get home and you want to be productive, right? You're like, okay, today I'm going to do something productive, whether it's coding or art or, I'm going to do something with my time that's positive. And then you sit on fucking YouTube for 3 hours and all of a sudden you're watching like cats pull pizzas off counters and you're like, why am I watching this? Like, how did I get here? Like, I meant to be productive today, but it's because our attention span is constantly shifting, Yeah. Like, I'll give you an example. Today, I got home and I worked on Deathly a little bit, so I was doing like the traps that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And I would literally check like YouTube every 15 minutes. Like I couldn't just stay focused on what I was doing. I would just like, and then I would catch myself and I would stop doing it and then I would go back. But I feel that way with the games now too. Like I can't focus on a game that long anymore because my brain starts to drift and think about all the other shit I have to do, or, oh, should I check YouTube for this? Should I check social media for that?
So what they keep bringing up, which is an interesting thing, at least to me, is that it was social media. It was, even YouTube social media, it is. Do you think is the advent of social media that's getting in the way and distracting you? You think if you were a kid right now, because as a kid, I could sit down and play a game for like ever. It could be a bad game and I still play it for like literally forever. Like actually what JC just said, Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Oh yeah, I fucking love that game. That was an awesome game.
That game was scary to me as a kid, but it was super cool.
Dude, I sucked at that game. Like I'm pretty good at video games. I think in general, like I think I am a good gamer in quotes. But I would get to like level 6 and die every time. But I would keep playing it. I would keep going back. It was just I don't know. Like maybe like we're talking about. Maybe at the time it was a symptom of just that very singular experience. I got to rent one video game on the weekend. It was Zombies Ate My Neighbors, so I better fucking play Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Like that's what I had. I don't have a choice. But no, it's actually interesting you bring this up because this was the first topic I wanted to ask you about and talk to you about. Yeah. Your keyboard is killing.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Can you put it on the floor? Please, can you put it in the floor?
I can do that.
Okay. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so just like you, when I was a kid, I could sit down and I could play Doom or Super Metroid or Diablo or like Conquer and Command, like anything. Like I could play these games for what felt like all night long, right? So I would start, like at home from school, and I would start playing this game, and I would lose myself in it completely. Like all I could think about with this was this game, and it would feel like a whole night passed me by, and then I would look up at the clock, and it's only like 5:30, and it seemed like time was forever, and that like this world that I was taking part in was so personal, and nothing else mattered except this game that was in front of me.
Yeah.
And obviously, like one part of that is the longer you live relative to the time that you've lived, everything seems shorter.
Yeah. Yep.
So when you're 10 years old, 1 year is only a tenth of your life, but when you're 30 years old, 1 year is a 30th of your life. So
have you ever talked about this?
Have I?
Have we talked about
No,
this?
we have not. No.
Oh, I've always thought that same thing. It's like 1 year as a 1-year-old is the same length of time as 100 years for a 100-year-old.
It is not the same time.
Kinda though. Like
no, I mean, are you?
But you know what I mean. Like,
no.
like that's my whole life at some point is the same time frame.
Well, objectively, a 1-year-old's first year is the same length as a 100-year-old's year, right? So 99 to 100 is objectively the same length, but subjectively to the way that you notice time pass around you, it is extremely short, because
absolutely
the day-to-day things like playing a video game when you're a kid seems like it takes forever, but then now like I sit down to play a game and it's already 9 o'clock and I have to go to sleep or whatever. It's just. But I think that's one symptom of it. But I also think it's. And this is why I want your opinion. Is like, what made games so magical when we were kids? Like, what was it about then and now where our brains are not just satisfied anymore by losing ourselves in a world? Like, why do we always think about other stuff? Why do we always have to like check social media, or why do we always have to like switch what we're like activities? Like, what is that? What causes that?
Well, there could be a few things. It could be like, one thing someone could say out of the gate was like FOMO, whatever, fear of missing out. Okay. I don't think it's necessarily the case, because honestly, I don't care.
But what do you? Explain that more. Like fear of missing out. What do you? Give me an example of that.
Okay, so so you get a notification of a new video, right? Mm-hmm. Comes out. Okay, cool. Your favorite YouTuber posting a video, and there's a FOMO because like if you don't watch it now, and kind of in a weird, messed up sense, you're never gonna watch it, kind of thing, and it's gonna be gone, even though it's not true. But I know like if you're missing out, a lot of it has to do with wanting to know everything going on with everyone, but you're unable to.
It's weird that you like. I identify with that so much, and it's cool to hear you say that, because when I was in high school, like the first year of high school, I would literally lie to my girlfriend so I could play Warcraft 3. I would tell her like would get home and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna hang out tonight?" I'm like, "Oh, I feel so tired. Like it was a long day. I'm just gonna pass out." And then I would spend the rest of the night playing Warcraft 3. Like I would intentionally get out of social situations to do that. But then as I progressed through high school, and like you said, like once I had more friends and like started going to parties and like hanging out with people, I almost like if I was in my room alone at night playing games, I felt like I was missing out on things. Like I had to know what everyone was doing. Yeah. And I felt like the world was moving past me if I was just standing still. Is that kind of what you mean by that? Like the
kind of. That's to an extent the what FOMO is.
Yeah, fear of missing out.
Which is a newish term, and something that's actually being studied, because it's kind of like a social like phenomenon going on, more or less. But back to the topic about why games were magical back then. It's because games were just something so completely different from everything. Games took time. You had like we said, you got one game to play that weekend, and it better be Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Now you have just bombarded. For instance, right now I have 4 monitors open.
Jesus,
I have so much stuff on my screen, and it's not wasted space. All of it's being used for something that's relative, at least to me, to some point or another. So coming home and wanting to play a game, But not that. But as an adult, you have so much responsibilities. Holy cow! I gotta feed my cat. I gotta clean my room. I gotta do my laundry. I gotta clean the kitchen. I gotta pay bills. I gotta message my parents. This and that. You know, it's. As a kid, if I want to play a game, that's what I'm gonna do until I'm getting yelled at from my mom to get off. You know.
So is that? I was thinking the exact same thing, like along the lines of everything you're saying. Like when you now your brain is constantly focused on all of the responsibilities you have. Like you almost feel guilty now, you know? Like if you spend too long playing a game, you're almost like, fuck, like I should have been doing something else. Like I should have been being productive, or I could have done this during this time or whatever.
No, that's exactly how I feel all the time. Yeah.
But do you, so what I would call that is almost like the saying ignorance is bliss, because when you're a kid, you're ignorant of everything that goes on in the world that you don't have control over or doesn't control you. So basically, your world is the house you live in, going to school, hanging out with your friends, and then your parents, you know, that's like your domain. Mm-hmm. And you really aren't responsible for any of that. Like someone is holding your hand through that every step of the way. Mm-hmm. And I think because of that, the activities you do have no merit on your responsibility. You're like, okay, I can do whatever I want because someone's eventually going to come along and be like, hey, stop doing that thing that you're doing.
Yes.
Because you need to go to school now, or you need to go to bed, or whatever it is. Like you almost had, you had someone holding your hand and like leading you step by step what you should be doing. But now we don't have that anymore. So it's like you have to do that to yourself. And I think that's why I feel guilty when I spend too long playing a game or whatever it may be, because I'm now have to be my parents as well as the person who wants to do the thing. And it conflicts within your head. So I just thought that was interesting. Like,
but isn't that just wild in a crazy sense? Because like it's something pleasurable to you and something you want to do and it's fun. But then
you like punish yourself. Yeah. You're like, man, I loved playing that game last night. I'm such a loser for spending my entire night playing that game. It's like, you turn around and it's crazy,
But what's funny is that the only form of entertainment that you gain that kind of like embarrassment is games.
Yeah, I think that's true. Like you can watch a movie and I don't feel too bad about that, or listen to music or something like that. Yeah, I don't feel like, I've wasted that time necessarily. I wonder why that is. Do you think it's because it's an interactive thing? Like we are participating in that action? Like we're part of that like, because I think a game, like you surrender yourself completely to that entertainment medium, right? Like if you're watching a movie, you can stop watching the movie for a second, or you can look away, or what, like you're free to kind of disengage at any point. Mm-hmm. But when you're playing a game, you're pretty much fully engaged. Like you are controlling that character, you are controlling your whatever's happening in the game, and to let go of that is it's just you have to stay in that moment, and maybe that's why, because it's just such a dedication to what that entertainment is. Maybe I don't know.
I get what you're saying, because like if I go watch a movie in like living room or whatever, or my room, watch whatever show, I can go on my phone and like message people or social media. But when I'm playing the game, I'm full on. I'm playing this game because without me, it's going nowhere.
Right, and that movie will keep playing whether you are watching it or not. Like whether you are actually, you're not like pausing. You don't have to hold down the play button as you're watching the movie. Like you can put down the remote and then just freely. But yeah, exactly. Like if you stop. Like, there's so much more that rides on you paying attention to that game than paying attention to that movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's interesting. That's a big part of it, too. But I thought that I've always felt that way. Like, it sucks that I wish there was a drug other than alcohol that you could take to numb your mind to the outside world. So you could feel that magic again, so you could like lose yourself in that game just for like 30 minutes to an hour.
Well, it's really just a mindset, You gotta accept the fact that yes, I am wasting time. But in reality, everyone's just wasting time until we die.
Wow. Wow, you took it from like that was like, hey, we can be positive about this. Hey, I'm gonna waste some time, but I'm gonna fucking die anyways, so it doesn't matter.
Am I wrong though? You might as well just enjoy it.
You are not wrong.
So
you know what? I'm not even gonna wake up tomorrow because I'm gonna die anyways. So why am I gonna spend 40 minutes driving to work just so I could die someday? No, I'm kidding. But no, I agree. Like I think that you have to be honest with yourself. Like you can't beat you. Like I'll give you a personal example. Like if I get home and I want to work on game development and I choose to play a game instead, I have to be honest with myself that was my choice. And I can't beat myself up because I chose to do that.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to beat myself up, then I need to do the other thing. I can't play the game. I need to work. So I think you're right. I think you have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah. Exactly. Like there's times where, like I try to wake up at 7 a.m. every day, like you said earlier today. Yeah. And sometimes I do. And sometimes, to be honest with myself, I'm gonna snooze all of my alarms, all 6 of my alarms. So I'm just gonna turn them off now and just sleep until 9. And then be late anyways.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you did you have a
yes, I had a
topic?
few stuff.
Yeah, let's go with whatever is piquing your interest.
Well, hey, how many times have you skipped school to play video games?
I actually was super responsible as a kid.
You're
like
boring.
I was no, seriously, I was super scared of authority when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
So like I felt like I had to follow the rules or like I was going to get like arrested or something. Like I had this super weird complex about authority.
Uh-huh.
Now when I got to college, I definitely skipped classes to play video games in college.
Yeah, that counts 100%.
Okay, yeah, so when I was a kid and like my parents would take me to school and stuff, I never like faked sick or something like that to stay home. Mm-hmm. But in college, I would, especially when like WoW came out and I was playing WoW when it first released, I was constantly like not going to class to play WoW. It's pretty sad.
No, it's not. It's hard not to. I mean, earlier this year, I took a whole week off of work and school to play Monster Hunter when it came out. So, which I only played half a week, because the other half I played doing schoolwork because that's important. But I just have like all the time.
Look at even that. Like you were like, I'm gonna take this week off to play this game that I want to play, and you ended up only doing it half the time.
Well, as an adult, yeah, but as a kid in like high school and stuff, or like even in middle school or whatever, I'd fake sick all the time. Hell yeah, dude. Play some video games. That's me. That was me in a nutshell. I would skip, and like when Halo 3 first came out, like I skipped school to play Halo 3 at my cousin's house, and that was tight.
That was tight.
I see how I play Monster Hunter on my PSP. Like I could just bring it to school and play at school, which I did, but I was like, I was gonna stay home and do it.
Now, so when I think another reason why I never did that is because if I was sick, I wasn't allowed to play video games. So usually,
too sick for school, too sick for video games.
Exactly. That was the saying. Like, oh, if you couldn't go to school, then you can't play video games. You can't play Doom all day. And it's like, well, come on, I'm sick. Like, what else am I gonna do? You're gonna rest. Shit.
Yeah.
Like even if when I was legitimately sick, I'd be like, I feel okay enough to play games. No, you don't. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna lay down all day.
See, what I used to do is get milk and put lemon and salt in it, and then make these weird lines in it, and I drink that and throw up.
What? Explain that again. Who
I get
this?
milk. I did this. I got milk.
Uh-huh.
That's a lemon and salt in it.
Okay.
And it was just formulate these weird like lines, little like sticks inside the milk.
It's probably like a chemical reaction. Yeah.
Probably, I don't know.
The
I
milk
just
was
drank
curdling.
It. Oh yeah, that's probably what it was. Yeah, I drink and throw up, and then I go stay home. Or was a senior, or just
hey, this is a good tutorial for any kids out there. If you want to fake being sick, just do what Josh does.
Or just like, I don't know.
Do you still do that for work thoh? Like you don't?
Oh no, I know.
I saw you the other day. I saw you with some milk the other day. I was wondering what you were doing.
No, if I don't go to work because I'm actually sick, There's no way. But even then, I'll still go to work sick.
Yeah, I feel. Do you feel guilty about calling out?
No, it's just like I need money, but I don't
But you have sick time,
but-
don't you? Like things like that at work.
Well, I do have sick time, but you're not wrong. I do feel guilty because, like, okay, let's say like today, let's say I called out today, like you've been by yourself.
Okay.
That would be terrible. I would feel so bad.
So you feel guilty.
Yeah, I feel as an adult. Yeah, I feel guilty.
Okay.
People are relying on me. People are depending on me.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I
Yeah.
feel
The
guilty.
school don't depend on me if I went to school, but teachers still gonna teach.
Yeah, it goes straight
Yeah.
back to like everyone's holding your hand. You know,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. And one day isn't gonna like set you back that much. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I never did that. Never really stayed home like on purpose for, like I said, until I got to college. So, but it sounds like you did a shitload of that with your milk trick. So that's cool.
Well, you just when a good game was out, I was like really deep in this game.
I can imagine 12-year-old you like researching when games are coming out, like Game Informer magazine. You're like, oh my god, it comes out on the 12th. I'm gonna be really sick on that day.
Like, it wasn't even like that. It was just the same game. Like, for instance, Melee, Super Smash Bros. Melee. You know how many times I've unlocked all the characters, and got all the trophies, and then just to delete the information and do it again?
Oh my god.
I do that all the
Crazy.
time. That was my jam. Then in Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, Resident
Oh,
Evil 4 was super good.
Oh yeah.
I think I got the GameCube. No, I got the GameCube for Metroid Prime. When it
Oh,
came
Metro
out.
Prime was nuts.
That was nuts. That was a good game.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah, I would
liked
scan
that.
everything. I always have my scanner up. I would have nothing but my scanner up until I play.
Well,
Put my-
it's kind of like I like the scanner idea, but at the same time, exactly like you are constantly scanning shit, right? You're just like, oh, is this
Yeah.
a thing? Is this a thing? I don't know. I don't know if that was a good implementation or not.
Well, I feel like the scanner thing attracts those who are lore interested.
Completionists,
Like,
yeah, like yeah.
Completionists, yeah. So I like lore stuff. Lore stuff is cool.
But there has to be a, I don't know. I agree.
Well, okay,
No,
actually, like Dark Souls does lore pretty well.
but there's no mechanic that interrupts gameplay that I can think of. You know what I mean? Like the whole scanner thing just broke. Like you couldn't do shit besides scan things. Like if you were scanning something, that was it. And it's
Well,
and then you like
it was a new thing.
at least me, I'm standing there like in the environment, just like looking around, like looking. I'm like, oh, I look like an idiot. Just can't scan shit. So
it was a new like kind of mechanic they introduced, and it was more for those who, because when you play Super Metroid, like you got the dialogue in the game, even though there's hardly any dialogue. There was the intro, and then when Samus left the island or left the planet.
But that's what it was so beautiful. It was that's why I think Super Metroid was like the atmosphere. It was perfect because yeah, you got the intro right, and then you know she's alone. Like she lands on this planet alone, and you're like, okay, it's raining. There's no music except like thunder in the background. Something's up. Like something's going down right now.
Yeah.
And then you like the first Chozo statue, like comes awake and starts attacking you, and you're just like shit. Like as a 8-year-old kid, it scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game was. I think I've talked about this, but I don't know if with you, but Doom and Super Metroid have like the best atmosphere of any game that I've ever played. Well, of those games, like when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
it's just masterfully done. So
Yeah.
that's what I think. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
It was different because, like you said, she's alone. When Samus Aran's on the island, completely alone. There's all these crazy things. Fights all these space pirates. Fights all these giant monsters and creatures. Discovers more Chozo, which I don't know explains in Super Metroid or the previous Metroids that Samus was basically like raised as a Chozo, kind of more or less.
She was an orphan or something like that, and
Yeah, like it was never explained that you didn't know that, and then she did all this stuff on this planet and leaves, and no one knows better. No one knows, and
except
except like
leaves. Yeah.
Samus could be at a bar like, "Yo, I did this," and like, "You're a liar, you're dumb," and no one believe her. But at the same time, that's kind of cool because it's not if Samus didn't do all that she did on that planet.
So you're looking at it from like a. You're looking at it from as in that universe that
Mhm.
there was no.
Yeah.
But see, the game as a player though I think worked really well with that because you like that was the whole it was almost like that in real life. Like, you play this game, right? And you're the only one playing it. You're the only character in it who's like, gonna help yourself. You have to rely on yourself, and then you go tell your friends about it, and your friends like, nah, no, you didn't. Like, hey, like like wall jumping. Like, wall jumping was huge in that game. Like, if you never played the game before, you had no idea you could wall jump, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to that part with the little dudes that jump off the wall.
And it teaches you how to do it.
I ran across the street to my friend's house. Like, I literally fucking ran across the street, and I'm like, Danny, you can wall jump in Super Metroid. And he's just like, what are you talking about? It was such a magical thing because I had an experience that he wasn't there for because I was playing it by myself at the time. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like you said, like, nah, that didn't happen. But then he comes over and you show him. So I think it worked really well, like, as that type of game. I know you're saying, like, in the actual lore of the game, but I thought it was perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm right, so. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So that makes you right, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. It goes back to what we talked about earlier about, your individual experience and what you said, like telling someone something happened and just like, no.
No, it didn't. They just like close the door and you're like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
So I have a interesting topic that's not really game related, but it's definitely bothers me.
Perfect. Yeah, tell me.
And I want you. So, do you have 4 monitors, right? You've been saying you have 4 monitors over there.
Yeah.
Can you utilize one of them to bring up YouTube real quick?
Of course. That's my top one. It's the one on top of it's mounted. I'm on it. What's up?
Do you see the ad at the top of there, or do you have ad blocker on?
I have YouTube Red. Used to be. Previously, no. Not YouTube Premium.
Not RedTube, but YouTube.
No. No, I got YouTube, but I got there's no ad for me. So.
Turn off your ad blocker real quick, just so you can see it at the top. Or you can look at the stream. I have it on the.
I'll look at the stream because I think I turn my ad blocker off. It's still gonna because I pay for YouTube for Google Play Music, and I don't know.
Oh, okay. So they I don't know if they removed this or not.
I'll refresh it. I just paused it.
Oh,
yeah, no banner.
What?
No banner.
Just look on the stream. I just want to.
Okay.
So you can physically see what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know when you see it.
I'm see it.
Okay. Do you see like the whole like evolve the definition thing at the top?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So. And this is why I want to talk about this with you because I think that we might have a different definition on this from each other. But this whole ad is basically saying that we need to evolve the definition of what it's to be masculine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we've talked about this kind of before, just like, on the side, but to me, it seems like in society right now, there's a huge push to almost crucify masculinity. And what I mean by masculinity is like almost not aggressiveness, but assertiveness. You know what I mean? Like if a man is strong and assertive and I'm trying to think of a word that's not like, I don't want to say like dominating, but you know what I mean? Like he basically asserts himself and he feels like he has a presence or whatever. That is frowned upon now. Like, especially on social media, like, it's like, just like this, like they have ads on YouTube now where they're saying that a definition of a word, like in nature, like even, like you speak Spanish, right?
Yes.
So Spanish is based off of feminine and masculine words. So you have la and el and things like that, right?
Yeah.
There's like these things that exist in nature. We see and define things as feminine and masculine. It's a characteristic of animals, languages, things like that. So what bothers me about this is that sorry, my phone is going crazy. What bothers me about this is that, I grew up with very powerful male characters in video games, like the Final Fantasy series, Doom, just games where like like Squall from Final Fantasy VIII, Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. Those are badasses to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're strong, masculine. So I always like wanted to be like that. I always wanted to be like strong, heroic. That's why I work out. Like I try to stay in shape because I want to be like physically strong and all these kind of things.
For sure.
And I feel like now it's almost wrong to be that way. Like this kind of like that. That's what this makes me feel like. And I know that or at least I'm assuming that there are people out there who do not identify, who are male, who do not identify with the definition of this word. Like they're like, oh, I'm not a masculine, male. Like I don't want these things that masculinity defines.
Yeah.
But shouldn't, like, it's, to me, it seems like they're attacking this rather than forming their own identity. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Instead of like embracing what they are and saying, okay, we may not be this, but we're this instead, and we're proud of that, they're now attacking this like, okay, we have to change the definition of masculinity because there are people who do not fit that definition and they don't like it. So like, how do you see this? Like from like, are you... I don't want to make any assumptions.
Dude, you totally say what you want. I don't care.
No. Like, do you feel like I'm trying to, I don't know how to phrase it. Like, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as like masculine? Do you see yourself as like, how do you view that definition?
Mm-hmm. So I hear you saying too, everyone views this different from the trend. No, for me, masculinity as a whole to me is something. It's not a physical trait. It's not something that can be ascertained by looking at someone saying they're masculine. Because someone can be ripped, huge, bulking mass of muscle, and that doesn't make them masculine per se. Maybe the physical appearance is masculine, but the personality and everything is different. Masculine doesn't necessarily mean someone who's aggressive, someone who is, hard-headed, stubborn, which is what the connotation is for masculine for a lot of social media aspects. And social media itself is a damn echo chamber. Because you see it. Everyone just freaking snowballs into this big giant mess.
Mm-hmm.
But me myself personally, I see myself. I want to be more masculine. Like saying like I always go to the gym. I want to be huge, but not because I wanted to be big because that's my idea of masculinity per se. I want to be big because I wanted to physically represent someone who was reliable. Like if I said I'm going to do this thing, whatever it was, they'll look at me and say, yeah, like he's going to do that thing. For sure.
And but to you, then that means, or like, just to kind of make sure I hear what you're saying, a physical appearance of being strong or that to you gives the sense of reliability, is what you're saying?
Yeah, in a sense, to an extent, it does. Okay. Because it's not just because I mean like you can say for events like for like characters in movies or fiction whatever, is that you can have someone like, let's say Littlefinger, for example, if you watch Game of Thrones, or Loki.
I don't.
So Loki from to me, Loki's pretty masculine because he will get something done. If he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. He's conniving. He is
assertive too. Like I think assertive would be a good word.
Yes, he's assertive. He's
right.
Passionate.
Right.
He's goal-oriented. But how they're saying now with masculinity is like a bad thing because their idea of masculinity is like the big macho guy.
Right.
And there's no respect. They're all brawn, no brain. But masculinity to me isn't just that. It's much more than that.
Yeah, to me too. But that's why like this bothers me so much is because it used to be a vocal minority that I think had a problem with that. Like they exactly what you're saying. They would think that okay, masculinity is toxic in quotes. I'm going to put in my air quotes toxic because it does represent all of those things. It represents someone who's belligerent or not disrespectful. Doesn't is just for lack of a better word, is an asshole, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's the idea. But now there's a fucking banner on the biggest video social media site. to you know what I mean? Like, it's not just that vocal like minority anymore. It's on the goddamn YouTube. So, and the reason why, like, another reason why I feel so passionate about this is because, like, my current relationship now, like, my girlfriend really, like, she's told me this over and over again. She's like, I want a masculine mate. Like, I want someone who's going to be assertive and, like, take care of me, and, like, who I know I can go to for reliability. Like, just like you were saying, like, you don't have to be, like, ripped and, like, lift a car over your head to be masculine. It's about doing what you say you're going to do, following through with your actions, being respectful, and then asserting yourself. Like, I have a goal. I'm going to move towards this goal. If you get in my way, I'm going to go around you and get to my goal anyways. Like, it doesn't have to be a toxic thing. So I just don't... I don't know where this is coming from. Like, it's crazy to me.
Well, see, because and here's the thing too. When we say it this way, and I still agree with you what you said. If you say masculinity is this thing, right? It represents X idea, and that's where we both agree more or less on masculinity. But what's the opposite of masculinity?
Femininity, or
be feminine.
English. I can't speak it, but I'm trying.
You don't need it. Don't worry about it. No one speaks it anyways. It's all slang.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
But effeminine is opposite. So then, are we saying that someone who isn't reliable and someone who isn't going to get things done, someone's feminine? You know, and I'm not saying we didn't say that. We didn't. None of us said that. But it sucks because you say if masculinity is this thing, that means being feminine is completely opposite.
Okay,
and that's something that was this the way it is. That people are going to perceive it that way, and that's why there's such an uproar. The reason they're trying to change masculinity, I think, is not because they want to belittle masculinity, but they want to change what it means to be feminine.
But then, I totally agree with what you're saying. That actually, I didn't see it from that angle, because if you like you said, if a definition of something has an opposite definition to it, like, then generally that means the reverse, or, you know, whatever the other definition is. So if, like, light and dark, like, you know, it's usually the opposite of each other. But I don't think this is a case like that. I don't think that masculinity and femininity are opposites. I don't think that's what that means. Like, if that is to say, if you are not masculine, then you are feminine, or if you're not feminine, you're masculine. I don't think those are mutually exclusive, I guess, if I'm saying that right. Because I think that a feminine person can have the same traits. I think they can be assertive. I think they can be goal-driven. But they definitely have other traits that would align them more. Like I think of it almost as like a male-female thing. You know what I mean? Like, masculinity to me would be the assertive, I want to use aggressive, that's not the right word. Assertive, like, goal-driven, strong.
You can say aggressive isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No, but if I say that and then someone ever watches this, they'll be like, he wants them to be aggressive, and then I'll get, like, death threats online. You know, it's true.
Blackmail, baby.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, kill that white boy. I think that a masculinity would be the same thing as femininity as to women is to men. So they're equal. They're like they're equal, the things for both sexes.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, a strong feminine woman would be the same as a strong masculine man. Now that does then mean that there is non-masculine men, right? And there's non-feminine women, but they don't have to cross over. Like, a non-masculine man isn't a feminine man; he's just not masculine. Therefore, whatever that definition he falls into, like these guys on YouTube are like, that doesn't sound like me. Like, I don't do these things. It's like, well, then you're not masculine. But that doesn't mean you're a woman, or doesn't mean that you have feminine tendencies. It just means you're not masculine. Like that, I think that's the problem, is that, like you said, that they're taking it to the extreme. They're saying, well, if I'm not this, then I'm the other definition. That's at least what I get from it.
Exactly, but that whole sorry, my brother said something in chat. Yes, exactly what you're saying. No. He just mentioned about how I take bottles to my hands.
Oh, we definitely know you do that. That's definitely a masculine
definitely.
trait. That's super masculine. If you can drink 2 40s without either dying or ending up somewhere you don't belong, I think that's masculine.
Thank you. Appreciate that. But what's funny is you say that. I've been told that I'm very feminine from multiple people. From someone who's actually I considered this person I knew who's very, very masculine himself. I consider masculine, but he commented that I was very feminine, and I take offense to that.
Yeah, I don't see you feminine at all. Like I don't. Now, to be straight up honest with you, though, I don't see you as like, I would say like you have certain traits that are masculine, but I wouldn't see you as like the full like fledged masculine.
No,
like the way that we're talking about it right now. Like I don't. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's not a bad thing. Like it doesn't mean any like negative connotation to you at all. In fact, I think that to me you actually seem like more of an empathetic person than I would say I am myself, and I respect that. Like I respect that you.
Well, thank you.
You seem like you could definitely like. I don't know, like you would relate with someone well when they're having a bad time, or you would want to help them, or you would something like that. Like I don't know if I'm saying that the right way, but
no, I get what you're saying, and actually that's why I think what someone who has a characteristic of a feminine or a feminine who's very feminine is someone's empathetic, who can understand, can relate, can help in that way. That's why I think when I think feminine, is like the softer side of things, stuff that's intangible, stuff you can't just.
You think of it that way, is what you're saying?
Yeah, see, it is. I think that masculinity as a physical thing is tangible. It's a physical appearance. It's something you can physically do. It's something that's verbally said. Whereas the feminine side of things, at least for me, is something that's like not so easily measurable. It's not something that you can say that person looks feminine or does. You know, it's something. It's something empathetic. It's emotional. It's something you feel.
Okay, that's actually pretty interesting because I mean, yeah, I see it. I think, like I said, I see it as like the two sides of the same coin where they both represent that goal-driven part of each sex. So like female and males, femininity, masculinity, same exact thing, just male and female versions of them. But you actually see it as like a physical / like a emotional personality sort of difference. Okay, and you said you took offense to that, or you do not?
No. I take offense to that. I did.
When that other person called you feminine, you said you did take offense, or no?
No, I did not take offense to them saying that. They didn't say it to me directly. Oddly enough, though, actually, there's people at work did say that to me too, like at our workplace has said that. But as I don't take offense to it, it's just something that I get why they think that way. I'm not very assertive as a person. I don't think I am. I'm not very aggressive because I don't feel the need to be.
Yeah, but see, there's that was the thing that I was gonna like I said, I'm not slighting you at all by saying this, but okay. I do. Your assertiveness level is not extremely high. I still think that you wouldn't let someone walk all over you though. Like I don't think you would just like lie down and let someone just. I'm gonna stop what I was gonna say there. But I don't think you're like going out of your way to like the other person we work with currently who's doing that. Like I said, I don't want to dox him or anything. I'm just being super careful about it. He's definitely assertive. Like he's definitely like he's masculine in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because he's assertive. I think so too. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I mean in the most positive way, something was up and it's being taken care of now, or at least being addressed.
Right, and that's because he asserted himself for that to take place.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. And that takes a lot.
Yeah,
I couldn't do something like that at all because I would go one-on-one with everyone and say, hey, this da 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 da. You know. I wouldn't take such a bold move myself personally, and I appreciate that because it's something I can't do. So I greatly actually envy people who do stuff that I can't do, 100%, because that's amazing. I can never experience it or do what they do because I can't do it. So
I see people the same way. Like I definitely respect people's skills that they have that I don't, but also, like, just from, I think this person took it too far on the assertive side, almost to an aggressive side. And that's why, to me, the word aggressive is like,
Has the negative connotation.
yes, because you can be assertive, but you can also be feminine in your definition. You can be masculine and feminine at the same time, where you say, hey,
Yeah.
look, I want this done, but you go about it with finesse, and you don't. It's not almost not demanding it, but you're trying to get the other person to see why it's important that it's done. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like a mutual situation. But I think that's a good way to look at it. I didn't look at it like with the whole like it being emotional or like how would
Physical.
you say? Physical versus like an emotional or like a
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And going back to what the whole YouTube page saying that and how it is now on social media and stuff, it's a big movement to have more passive people. There is a bunch of more passive and non-aggressive people, and those who just stand out now. Just like the old saying, you stick out like a nail, you're gonna get hammered down.
Mm-hmm.
Or however that saying goes.
That was close enough.
I just get hammered.
You just get hammered.
I drank a whole Steiner, and I'm like, want another.
Yeah, I'll take another one, please.
But yeah, absolutely. I see it in social media. I see it in like games now that we play.
Oh, dude! Oh my god!
Oh my god! It's insane. And don't get me wrong. At the same time, I don't want to say that's bad. No, like yes, bring that extra point to it, but don't bash me when my idea of a man is like big dude, strong. It can do all kinds of manly things. So that to me what a man is. A man is someone who can throw down, who can pick something heavy up.
And it's biological. Like it's not the thing that bothers me with this is that people are debasing all of biology by going down this road because. Do you know who Jordan Peterson is? He's a very popular. Okay, wow. He's a very popular psychologist who got like famous a couple years ago because he did some shit online. I don't know. He's a super smart guy, and he has a good point that if you take, like the middle ground of men and women, it'll fluctuate between like if a woman's stronger or a man's stronger, right? Mm-hmm. Like today at the gym, there was definitely some girls in there who could kick my ass. Like they were lifting more than I can lift like right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I can 100% say that. I'm like that she can kick my ass.
Yeah.
But if you take the extremes, if you take what male or female, who is the strongest out of those two sexes, 99 to 100% of the time it's going to be a male. It's biologically going to be a male. You know what I mean? Like that's how we are built as creatures that we are.
Yeah. Well, if you look like the, and I hate going down this path. I don't disagree with you at all because like if you look at the world's strongest man competition, I don't know if you know who Brian Shaw is. Brian Shaw is a massive man. He picks up boulders.
He picks up what?
Boulders, straight up boulders.
Okay, like
puts on a pedestal, and that's part of the strongest man competition stuff. And like when he lifted I think he they lifted the most. He broke the record. He got a bloody nose doing it. Like
I've seen maybe that was him, but yeah, like he starts like bleeding out of his nose all over the place, and he's just
and he's doing it, but he keeps going. He has to finish track. See, I see that, and. When I see that, I don't think, man, that guy is strong. I like that. Man, that guy is passionate. That guy is driven. Yes, he is strong, but I don't mean that just physically. But it took a lot to get there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're not just. It's yes. You can at some point you could put genetics into the equation, but it's not just that. It took hours, dedication, the keeping the right diet, working out nonstop for hours at a time, keeping the right schedule, like.
But the question is though, that he did all those things, right? And like, in your opinion, or I guess let's even like try to base it on fact, would it be possible for if a woman did the same exact thing, followed the same diet, same everything, like to the fucking T, do you think she could lift as much as he can?
I think I said Gen X earlier. If someone's genetically disposition, there's a word for it. You know the word.
Yeah.
to do that, I think they could.
Okay.
Because And I don't want to say that not everyone can do whatever they want to do, because people can more welcome to do that. But I could never do that. I don't have the bone structure.
Well, it's like I can't fucking sing. Like I wish I could sing, dude.
Yeah,
like, dude,
that's a good example.
Like I
I
see, like I play guitar, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna create my own songs, and then like I'll record something and I'll sing, and I hear myself, and I immediately delete that shit. Like my finger is hovering over delete, and I just slam it because no one's gonna ever hear that because it's terrible.
Yeah.
So I know that like I'm not a singer. I want to be a singer. I wish I was a singer. I'm not a singer. So I can accept that fact. And but I wish, or I don't know if that's what's going on with like social media and society right now, that people are just not accepting that there are some things you just can't do. You know, like it's okay to be you. It's okay to fit in that area you fit in. You don't have to redefine a word because you don't match the definition of that word. It's okay to be you. I just...
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what it is or not, but it...
Wait, here's the thing, too. Is like, if my idea of masculinity is this thing, if someone's idea of masculinity is the other thing, that's okay. They're just words at the end of the day. They're ideas. They don't have to be the same thing.
But they do... their argument, just to play devil's advocate, is that a lot of... Especially for whatever reason, this wasn't a problem 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but now, the way that you're defined... in your gender and your gender identity limits you or doesn't limit you or whatever. Like, it just has a huge impact on your life. I don't know how. I don't know what's going on with that. But that's how people feel. They feel like they're, you know.
And here's the thing with that is that there's no way for us to ever know how they feel because they can explain to us, but it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Because we can never know. And that's why I would hear that argument out endlessly because I do want to understand. And that's something I'm innately jealous of. I'm jealous of the fact that I can never understand the feelings that they feel. It's something I can never experience. I'm actually very particular about experiences and how I can experience everything. But
yeah, it bothers me too. Like that's why, like, just to clarify for anybody who listens to this, I don't discount people's experiences. Like, if you have a certain experience and you feel a certain way, I 100% agree with you. Like, for instance, I had. I think 2 years ago, I went through this weird like mental thing where I don't know if it was like a mental breakdown or whatever was going on in my life, but like I was super disassociated and like things didn't seem real. Like I was questioning if things were actually real or not, and like I was losing control. And like everybody looked at me like my parents looked at me like I was fucking nuts, you know? Like they're just like, go do what you're supposed to do, and I'm like, I can't. Like I feel like, you know, I'm going crazy. And eventually it passed. So no one's going to know what that feels like for me. No one knows what that felt like. Like, I could explain it 100 times, and people are going to be like, yeah, you're being an idiot. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, just be stronger. And you're like, I couldn't. Like, it was something wrong with me. So I don't want to discount anybody's experience, but I am a very, like, scientific and fact-driven person when it comes to, like, certain things that exist. And that's, like this topic, this masculinity topic delves into that realm, I think. Like, we have very strong scientific evidence for certain things.
Yes.
And people are just on whole ignoring thousands of years of this shit because
and I get that too, because I don't like when I fill out like paperwork for like a job or for a survey or whatever I have to do, and it's like those are the gender options, like male, female, other. And I mean, it's kind of weird to me because
what is like
I get where people are coming from, because they say I don't feel this way. Well, they just put down what you feel. You feel like you're a girl, put down you're a girl. If you feel like you're a boy, put down you're a boy.
Right, yeah.
I don't care.
Those two choices are there, right? Yeah.
But when what I don't get is other. Like, you can be like completely different.
What is other? Yeah, exactly.
A whole separate thing. And if they want to feel that way, then by all means. I'm not one to say anything different. But it's just kind of odd to me, and I can't understand it. And not that I want to, I literally cannot. It's impossible.
Well, the question with that is that, just like Jordan Peterson brings up, is that he doesn't. The second part he doesn't bring up, but the first part is, if you want to introduce a whole slew of new genders, how do you handle that in society? Because our society is very built around gender structure, right?
Yeah.
And it's, we have certain roles, we have certain like ideas and everything that it's very specific to like male, female. Like it's just been this way for so long that that's what society's kind of accepted. So if you add all of these new, like I think there's like Zim, Zer, like all these weird like
pronouns.
Yeah, pronouns, right? How do we account for that in society? Like where how do we make space for that, or what does that look like? We have to restructure so much.
It's called they them.
I am so sorry if I offended anybody out there. If there's any theys or them listening, my condolences. Is that the right word?
Yeah, but it sounded pretty condescending.
I know it did. I'm sorry. I did not mean that condescending. Fuck. I'm gonna get hate mail for this.
Yeah,
but
we said about getting restructuring things. Now, eventually things will have to restructure because with time, just like the laws right now, all the laws that we follow have been made hundreds of years ago. A lot of the laws they're not valid to this point in time. And just like how the Constitution was made, just is an example. It was made to be amended.
Oh no! You're gonna piss off a lot of people with this.
That was just an example. I'm not saying like that's like
Josh is trying to take away our guns.
But it can be changed because times change, things change, society changes. Right now we're going through a big change, and a lot of it has to do with there's no imminent threat to the way we live day to day. That's not to say I'm belittling people though, across the world who are going in some every day is a war zone.
Right.
I mean, that's awful, and I wish the best for them. But in the grand scheme of things, it's little what happens now changes. Anything now, everyone knows there's internet, this worldwide internet. We can talk to anyone. So now we're going to a different point in time where we have to change how everything's structured. Okay, for example, there's a behavioral scientist, psychologist, whatever. He did this thing. I forgot what it's called exactly. But he put mice in a barn, a bunch of mice in a barn. Get a bunch of water and food, all the food and water they ever need. They don't need anything else. They do not need to struggle whatsoever. Right? And he left them there, and the population exploded because all they did was eat and sleep. And that was cool. Good for the rats. It exploded, and then suddenly it went to this point, and the population plummeted. Completely, like, just straight down. Mice were committing murder. They were committing suicide. They were starving themselves. They were raping each other, regardless of sex. All kinds of stuff. This guy did it like 80 times. Every time, same result. Different rats, different mice, always the same. Because it comes down to is that we need struggle. We need adversity. Even if it's made up. And I feel a lot of this is kind of...
yeah, glad you added that last part there. No, it is. Yeah, I think I don't know if it was that exact study, but I did read something like that where if you, like, even in our own personal lives, like if everything is going completely well, like I'm guilty of this too. Like today was a really good day. Like I felt good today. It was fun working with you guys. Like we had a good day. Everything's fine. And my brain starts to go, something's gonna go wrong. Something's gonna happen. Like, and I start worrying about stuff that's not even there. Because I'm anticipating some sort of struggle. I'm anticipating some sort of like, like, oh, the thing with Josh isn't going to go well tonight, or something's going to happen, or I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just like, so yeah, I think it's interesting that we're wired. Like, we need that adversity to kind of like go back to like that. Because what do they say? Like, you don't know like sadness without happiness, or happiness without sadness.
Yeah. You need the rain.
You need a reference point. Yeah, you need some sort of like. What does it feel like to have it, like, yesterday? Like, I felt like shit yesterday. And that's probably why I feel so good today, because my reference point was yesterday. And being hungover all day was not fun. So,
yeah. Exactly. There's stuff like that. And another psychology thing, I don't know if you know or are aware of this one, Maslow's hierarchy of need.
I heard of it, but refresh me real quick, because I might have just made that up.
essentially, it's like a pyramid, right? The very bottom is the base, and that's just like food. You need food. Then you need shelter, and then you need like a family acceptance. Then you need self satisfaction, and it keeps going higher and higher and higher. This hierarchy, because at the very bottom, if you have no food, you're pretty miserable.
Yeah,
or,
right.
no way to sustain yourself. Once you gain sustainability, you're like, damn, I'm top of the world. And it's easier to step up to the next. Oh, sorry, it gets harder and harder next to the next step. Because the last step in this mental hierarchy is nirvana, and it's impossible. That's why you see people who are like insanely rich and they're still miserable and like depressed and this and that. Because it doesn't make sense to someone who's like me. Because if I had like $1 million in the bank right now, I'd be pretty set. I'd be pretty ecstatic. I'd sleep a lot more. But someone who's up there, again, I can't experience them because they're trying to, in their own journey, spiritual. You can say spiritual, psychological, whatever. The next step is harder because it's something that's less measurable, less attainable, less measurable, less tangible. So that kind of comes down to now because everyone, more or less, it's not that. I mean, yes, there's a big struggle with the lower class and how the standard of living is completely fucked right now. But for the most part, people can get a job, get food, and get a place to live and sleep. Might not get the perfect car or the perfect house or whatever, that, but they can live. But all of a sudden, all these struggles come in, like that. They don't have the car, no, they're miserable. They don't have the house, they're miserable. That kind of stuff.
Well, that's actually a really good analogy because I've always wondered. It's really super sad, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but like when famous people who are either super accomplished, like not even just money, but like they've done things in like Robin Williams, for instance, like he killed himself, and you look at his life and you're like, wow, dude, that guy did so much. Like he kicked ass almost his entire life, plus having like I think he had a major depression most of his life or something like some.
He did pretty much his whole life.
Yeah, and he just kicked ass all the way through his life. He had money, he had a wife, he had kids, like everything. Like he had almost everything, but he still got to the point where it just wasn't worth it anymore. Like they're whatever he was searching for or whatever that next step was for him. He couldn't, like you said, he couldn't obtain it. Like that next level of need or whatever it was. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but it goes to show you that like, even like everybody thinks that you get rich and then you're happy or like, I just like even if you obtain your goals, you still may not be where you want to be.
Yeah.
And I think it goes to, like you said, with the whole like hierarchy of need where, like for me, I want to release a game, right? I want to release a game that even if it doesn't sell that well or whatever, I just want people to be happy and play the game I make. Mm-hmm. So what happens when I reach that? Like, what's the next step? Like where do I go? Like, am I going to be satisfied? If I'm going to like throw my hands up and be like, I'm done. Like, I'm super happy. I'm going to go work at fucking Walgreens because I don't need anything anymore. I don't think so. Like, I think my brain will automatically default to what's next. Like, what's my next need? And then I'm going to get depressed because I don't have that. Or I'm going to get, like, super anxious because it's harder to get than, So, yeah, that's a pretty good point. I don't think people think about that. That sometimes just striving to get where you want to go is the best part.
Yeah, the journey itself, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Like, it may suck when you're doing it, it may be hard, but once you're like I kind of compare it to video games. Mm-hmm. Like, have you ever played a game where you just want the game to be over? Like, what was the last game I played like this? Oh, God of War. So, like,
I thought you liked that game.
No. So cool. Just listen, hear me out. So, okay. I first started playing it and I sucked at it. Like, I had to lower the difficulty and everything because I was just terrible at the game. And then I started feeling like get the swing of things right. I'm like, I'm in it. I got this. The story is amazing. Like, I fell in love with the characters. But at some point, I just wanted the game to fucking end. Like, I played it for like 50 hours and I'm like, when the shit like every time I thought the story was gonna end, like a new thing would happen. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I just want this to be over. Yeah. But then as soon as it was over, I'm like, there's no more to do? Like, I want to play more God of War. Where's my God of War? So why did my brain do that? Like, why did I want the game to end? And then once it ended, I'm like, well, fuck, it's over. I want more. Like, it's such a stupid, like...
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like us going towards goals in life. Like, you want the goal, right? Like, you're like, I want to be rich. I want to be able to... I want this. I want that. And then you get it, and you're like, oh, well, what do I do now? Like,
Yes.
I have this thing, and I don't have to struggle anymore, so... they should change the definition of masculinity. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
No,
guys.
but I mean, it's okay. You don't have to apologize.
I'm sorry that I said that to all the people out there who are gonna try to kill me tomorrow.
Because you're not wrong.
But that's so. Where is right and wrong on like anything, right? Like I struggle with this too because what's really true, you know what I mean? Like people like that's just your opinion, like, you know, or like everything, like you see things a lot differently than I do. I see things a lot differently than you do.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But there has to be some like
universal truth.
Nah, that's getting like a slippery slope with that. But there has to be like things we can at least base shit on, like facts. You know what I mean? Like tangible bedrock stuff that we can be like, okay, this is a good starting point before we both can agree that this is true, and then you can differ from there. And I feel like that's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
Like so I'll just talk about this real quick because it's kind of past now. But there was that whole Jessica Price thing. I don't know. Did you see that?
I'm gonna say no. Okay,
I'm gonna bring it up on.
For sure. I'll be right here.
Okay, you just hang out for a second there.
100%.
Please stop talking.
Okay, what's up for a word from our sponsors?
Domino's Pizza. For right now, you can shut up, Paul. I'm trying to plug Domino's. You think we can get them to sponsor us?
You'd probably get sued for that.
Domino's Pizza's offering. Hold on, let me look up their website real quick.
They were offering 50% off until last Sunday. They stopped.
I need you to just take it down a notch. I'm trying to get us a sponsor. Holy crap! No way. Choose any 2 or more for $5.99 each. Order now. 2-item minimum. That's straight on the Domino's website, guys. Look at this. Man, that pizza looks so fresh and cheesy.
One of our viewers just ordered pizza from Domino's.
Domino's, we could really use a sponsor.
Well, yeah.
All right, now that's over with.
Someone email them. Someone tweet at them.
Look, dude. I'm trying to like secure sponsors before we even have any. That's what's up. Okay, so here's a quick. This is too much text. Anyways, there was a. I'll try to do this really quickly. There was an ArenaNet developer named Jessica Price, who was a narrative designer on Guild Wars 2. Okay. And
it's coming together now. It's coming.
I kind of talked to you about this a little bit, but
yeah.
So, anyways, she on Twitter, a public forum. Twitter's a public forum. Can we agree on that? Okay.
Yes. 100%.
So you tweet something, you're looking for audience engagement, right? Like otherwise you would write a fucking Tumblr or something.
You'd write it in your diary.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Perfect. Good example.
In your dark room.
Exactly. You would just sit there and jot this stuff down. Anyways, she was saying that it's very hard to give players agency in, or it's hard for players to feel connected with. Yeah. So when you play an MMO, it's different than playing like Tomb Raider. Like in Tomb Raider, you're Lara Croft, right? So if Lara Croft does something that you don't agree with, you kind of are more okay with it because Lara Croft's a character on her own. You're not Lara Croft. You're just playing Lara Croft.
Yeah.
But when you spend an hour and a half trying to name a character because you can't think of a name, and then you do their face and like their hair and like you make this character, it's you. Like you're trying to embody this character, right?
Yeah.
So when the narrative of the game makes you do something that you normally wouldn't do and you don't have a choice, it doesn't sit well with the player. You go, I wouldn't have done that if it was me. Mm-hmm. And then you get, So that's what she was arguing. And then a fan of Guild Wars 2, who was actually a Twitch partner of theirs, simply disagreed with her. He's like, I love the tweets, good food for thought, but I would just do branching dialogue, blah, 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 like all this stuff. And she went like on a tirade and called him like an asshat and said that just another day in the female life of a female game developer. Like she made it about gender.
Being told what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like just completely took it in a direction it didn't need to get taken in. Well, anyway, she got fired. ArenaNet fired her and some other guy that tried to defend her from the company because Yes, they were tweeting on their own personal accounts. They were not on the ArenaNet accounts, like the Guild Wars 2 accounts. But she was talking about the IP. Like, she was directly engaging with people about the video game. You know what I mean? Like, so it wasn't just like she was talking about a movie she didn't like and someone disagreed with her.
Yeah.
And then, so she's making it about gender now and saying how, like, women in game development are not treated fairly, and like she got fired because she's a female talking, like a strong female speaking out about all the, like, standing up for herself, blah blah blah.
Uh-huh.
So the reason I bring this up is because, like, we were just talking about how we need to, like, there has to be like a ground where we can all stand on and say this is true, like, just from, like, we can all objectively agree that this happened, right? And let's move on from there, and then we can give our own opinions. But with this, like, even though there's literal tweets on the internet you can read that you can say, like, oh, the guy didn't say anything about women. He didn't make it about gender at all. Like, there's no hint of misogyny or anything in those tweets. People are still taking her side that it was like a anti-woman issue.
Echo chamber.
It blows my fucking mind because we have tangible, like, physical evidence that it's not. Like, you can read it. Like, I'll drive to your house and, like, print them out and, like, read them with you if you want. So how is that possible? How is it possible that we've come so, we are so far off the rails as, like, society that two people can look at the same proof and one person goes, oh yeah, there's nothing about gender in there at all, and the other guy's like, well, it's definitely misogynist the way he said that, and you're like, but I don't see any, like, there's, like, how can that happen?
What you gotta do is replace that whole the profile who said that comment and just, like, Photoshop a female saying that.
It wouldn't work. It would still be misogyny somehow.
No way. No. If a girl was saying that to, it wouldn't be misogyny.
No, somehow they would make it about it. Somehow they would find a way to make it. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand how that can be an argument, and it's just, that's what makes it so sad to me, is that even when there's objective proof of something, it still devolves into this, like, I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. It's just sad.
Well, see,
I'm depressed now. I'm depressed.
What is it? Stuff like this, what it does, it scares people to say anything.
It what?
Yeah, it scares people to say anything. It scares.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why, like, I'm scared right now because I've been saying shit all night, and people can disagree. It's okay to disagree. In fact, absolutely. I hope people disagree with me, because then I could, like, when you said you define femininity differently than I do, I actually like that. I like that you see it as two different ways. Like, you see it as a physical and emotional, however you want to say that. I like that. Yeah. I think that's really interesting. And I don't care that you don't think the same as me. It doesn't bother me. Like, that's what people do who have good conversations. Mm-hmm. But then there's people out there who will just regurgitate the same exact, they want to either fit in with, like, the narrative or whatever it is. And they just blindly, like, spurt shit online, and it's...
Well, because it's easy.
It's dangerous, though.
Online, it's easy to say stuff like that. It's easy to say stuff, knowing that, but saying something like that. Now, when that person, or just a person, said that, right, she probably got a lot of likes and retweets and whatever for that statement. And that builds affirmation for herself, saying what she said was right. The way she's feeling is correct. Because X amount of people think the same way I think. And that's toxic.
It is toxic. I agree. Yeah.
It's little definition toxic. Spreading and poisoning. Because it's limiting that person. It could be this situation or no situation. If I say something on Twitter and 6 people like it, I'm like, yeah, that was funny. Or yeah, I'm right. That's affirming it for me.
It feels okay. Good. It feels good. Yeah.
It feels good. And don't get me wrong. Like, I like that, and it's okay. A tweet that's funny or something you agree with, by all means. But it inflates that person's ego, and again, just reaffirms with them that they're right, and they keep going with that. They keep riding that trend, that train, whatever.
And not only that, they do not affirm anybody's view that does not agree with theirs. That's the fucked up part, is that you could have like an equal amount, 50-50, right? You could have 50% of people like who like her tweet and then retweet it or whatever, and then you can have 50% of people who like disagree with it. But for some reason, like, we have confirmation bias where we only agree with the people that agree with us, and they, like, she even said in her tweets, like, I'm not responding anymore after she like laid out her entire argument. So it's basically like,
the point. Yeah,
exactly. So at that point, the only thing that can happen is people can like your tweet, and that's all you see, because you're not responding to anybody who disagrees with you anymore. You're just watching your like number go up. Mm-hmm. So you're sitting back going, aha, see, people agree with me, I'm right, when in fact maybe 50% or more of people disagree with you, but you're not engaging with that. So it's like, what's the phrase you use? Echo chamber? Like, you just basically...
It's echo chamber.
Yeah, you just get reinforced with your own bullshit ideas, and then eventually you're like doing interviews with online magazines that are completely spinning things out of control because you think you have this audience that... jeez.
And going back to how she got in trouble with ArenaNet for all that is, yes, even though you work for a company, the company we work for, yes, I work for them. Do I represent them? No, I don't. If I wear my uniform, or if I say the name, say I work for them, and I go out and say stuff like that, and I see at that point, whatever I say, whatever I do,
you're representing them.
I'm representing that company.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'm very careful when I go out in my uniform still, or when I mention to someone, hey, like, yeah, I do this. Like, I only use it, like for class, for example. I talk about cryptology. Cryptography, not cryptology. Cryptology is not the study of crypto.
I don't know. I just made that up. Is it good? Does it sound good?
It's a thing. Encryption. There you go. It's about encryption. I did a presentation for encryption, and I brought up an example from work, right? Mm-hmm. And I only use it as an anecdote to further establish me as an authority of the subject, and to get points. In which I got points for saying it that way. I did, which is totally fine.
No, that's fine. That's totally fine.
I got an A in the class. I'll keep it, but I don't do it in a negative manner. So when this person, Jessica Price, did that. And when she, an open forum, it is an open forum, talked about something of hers from work, and then responded to a response to that, yes, you are at that point representing your company.
Yes.
Because you removed your personal, you as an individual was removed, and you as a company became.
Yep. And you, like, Twitter, her argument was that she was on her personal account. She wasn't, on the Guild Wars 2 account. But when you start engaging, like, if she was, like I said, if she was talking about some other sort of medium that didn't involve her job at all, it would be completely fine. She can say whatever she wants to anybody she wants, well, within reason. But she can disagree with people, call them asshats. It's like, the Avengers Infinity War sucked, and someone's like, that was a great movie. She's like, you're an asshat. Then that would be fine, because it has nothing to do with... but as soon as she chose to do this, she started the conversation about, her job, and then on her personal account, and then someone responded, yes, she's representing her company 100%. And like, to your point, even like, I try to be very careful too. Like, I never, I watch the way I talk to people. I won't engage in certain ways, because I know that if I'm representing where we work for, and I do something, I'm gonna probably get fired, because that's the right action,
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know, like, I'm super scared of, like, how, like, well, I think I talked to you, like, I talked about this before, but even this whole thing leads to another example of, like, talking to women now, like, how.
Yeah.
I watched a video yesterday from Sam Harris, that, like, this whole Me Too movement is good. Like, I think women need to speak out about shit that's happening to them. But there are, like, varying degrees of things you need to speak out about. Like, there's, like, some guy came up to me at work today, and he was like, hey, you look really nice. Do you want to go on a date? And I said no. And he's like, okay, like, whatever. And then they're like, hashtag, some guy harassed me at work, hashtag Me Too. And that's a bad example because that wasn't harassment. He was just like interested in her, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like bad things like Harvey Weinstein and all that shit that happens with like we need to
That stuff was wild.
It's what?
That stuff was wild.
It's epic. No, wait, no, it's not epic. Oh shit, I can't say that. How do you rewind this? How do you rewind podcasts?
You don't.
Where's the rewind button?
It's
it's terrible. It's super terrible, and that stuff needs to be talked about. But the small stuff that's being talked about, it's like making guys scared to talk to girls.
Mm-hmm.
Because like even me, like if I was single right now, I don't know what the fuck I would do because
that's what I mean.
I would be so like worried of saying the wrong thing. You know what I mean? Especially at work, like. That's where you see most of the like females that you come in contact with. Usually,
for daily life.
Yeah, for daily, exactly.
Work
so
is
like
the most social interaction with
anybody. And that's where you build a rapport. Like you get to, you're not going to get to know somebody that you see for like 10 minutes somewhere else, but like at work you see them every day. You get to know them, whatever. Mm-hmm. And that one day you go up to them and you're like, hey, we've known each other for a while. Do you want to go out and get a drink sometime or something? And then all of a sudden you're like sitting at a write-up and they're like, you can't talk to female employees that way. And you're like, well, shit, like what am I supposed to do? It's so scary. Like I'm super glad that I don't have to
worry about
that. Yeah. Because no, I like you know how we talk at work, like to each other and like how we like, we just have fun. Like we say things that are funny. Like we have a good time, but I don't think that would fly with certain other people.
Isn't that wild in a sense, though? Because in the end, we're all people, we're all humans, we all bleed, and
we all die too. So we should just stop doing this and just go lay down.
We all experience pleasure and pain, heartbreak and triumphs, as individuals, as people. But if we can only behave certain ways with certain people, I mean, I like that. Our department is very tight knit for the most part, and we can say whatever about what to each other and won't be offensive, or we know where the line's at. We can't say that to someone else, other people, especially let's say people opposite sex. You can't behave the same way we do with each other,
right?
Because a lot of this, let's face it, a lot of us in the department, we're pretty gay with each other. And that's cool. Don't get me wrong. Whatever. It's all fun and games. But then, like, you can't approach someone of sex the same way, even though it's in a jokingly manner, meant to invoke friendship, and
I'm trying to figure out why that is, because, like you said, it's if you think about like I was joking about this before, but I do think about the mortality of us as humans a lot. Like I think about like death a lot and stuff like that. That's a lot of like the games that I have made center around death, and like I'm obsessed with it because I'm so scared of it. And like there's so many more serious things like that, like right, like if at the end of this road you're not getting out, like you're not getting out, right? But you're going to get offended when someone comes up to you, makes a small joke at work or something. Like, why are you choosing to waste your energy on that kind of stuff?
Yeah, why get mad?
Exactly.
There's no reason to get mad.
There are things that are offensive. Like people, especially physical touch. Like I'm a huge thing with physical touch. Like, if I don't want someone touching me, I'll make it very known. You know what I mean? Like, but just words, like just joking around, or just as long as if you're not hurting somebody, what's the like physically, you know what I mean? Like, what is it's such a crazy thing to me.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from with that. But the other side of that is that the most painful things I've ever experienced were words. Completely and utterly. I've been destroyed.
But if you knew somebody well enough, like at work, let's say, and they said something that resembled some of those words you've heard that were painful, would you take it the same way? Or would you that...
Well, it's those words that those painful things that happened to me were from people who were the closest to me. They said that, and it's just like, boom, completely destroyed. And that being said, if someone says something similar to me in a joking manner, I wouldn't be as offended, but at the same time, it's like, why would you say something like that?
Okay, so that's cool. Okay, let me try to break that down. So I'm just trying to how to phrase this.
I'll say it is that, okay, I used to be engaged at one point in my life.
Yeah, you told me
There
that.
was a point where we were having a big fight thing, but I was trying to make it okay. And she drove off, so I followed her to make sure she gets home safe at least. It's something I did every night. And then she pulled over, and I pulled up, and then she goes up to me and she just told me, like, why are you following me? It's like, I want to make sure you get home safe. It's she said, she looks at me just fuck off. And that was the most harshest thing that she's ever told, at least to me, told me at that moment in time. Just utterly destroyed me. That being said, someone's told me to fuck off lots of times as a joke. Like, oh, fuck off, kind of thing. I get that. That doesn't mean anything. But that phrase in itself, even before then, to me, like this is a lot. That's saying like completely just off yourself, kind of thing. I don't know.
So, but is that? I definitely agree with you. Context matters a lot, though. Like, because in that situation, the way you're portraying it, you were really caring about her. Like, you were doing something out of love. Like, you weren't doing it to be an asshole. You know, at least the way you're explaining it, like it was like something you were doing to make sure that someone you loved was okay.
Yeah.
And to get that sort of response for it, I agree, would be like shattering, because you're like, why would you say that? Like, I'm doing this to help, you know, like out of the goodness of my heart. But now, if like, just like if I was to say that to you, like just joking, would that affect you in the same way, or would it still be that way, just a lesser degree? Like, how would that?
It depends on the phrase, but the phrase itself now has a connotation to it. It's individualized to me, so it means something different, obviously. But no, if someone just told me that off, like, no, it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't be bad. That's just one example. But like.
But you would still think of that memory, maybe? Like, would that still pop up in your head?
It's like if we were at work, right, and I said to just anyone, like one of us, it's like, oh, you got a nice ass. Yeah, I didn't mean anything. It's just funny. Whatever, kind of thing. Depends on the context, of course.
Right.
If I said to a female coworker, or even another coworker who isn't part of our department or close-knit, but I know very well, it could be male or female, they'll probably take offense to it.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, but I think that...
Even if it's a joke.
I think socially, like that... So maybe they are, like, maybe we can agree that there are social boundaries that we shouldn't cross, possibly. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's okay. I think that in a professional environment, there are maybe certain things you shouldn't say in a generalized way. Like, maybe, like, if you are close-knit with your friends there, you know, like, we all work together pretty closely, it's more acceptable then. But, yeah, I would agree that maybe there's certain things that shouldn't be said, or...
Well, how about give me an example of something that would baffle you if someone found offensive?
I'm trying to, because this has actually happened to me before, so I'm trying to... Like, this thing that pops the most in my mind is I used to, when I worked there before, a long time ago, I would give these two cashiers hugs every day.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I would come in and, like, they would see me and I would, like, run over and hug them, whatever.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it really offended somebody else that worked there.
Somebody else?
Yes. So somebody saw that and they were, like, bothered by it. Like, they were uncomfortable or something, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was, like, talked to about it. And I don't know, like, to me that baffles me, because it was just, I was doing something nice. I wasn't being sexual or anything. Like, it wasn't like anything, you know what I mean? Like, nothing that can be construed as, like, inappropriate. Mm-hmm. But someone saw it on the outside and was uncomfortable with it. And it was such a positive experience for me, like, and the people, like, we were, it was happy, you know, it was like a friend thing.
It was a good thing.
It was a good thing, right? So that kind of, like, I was like, what? Like, why am I being reprimanded for this? Like, I didn't do anything wrong. So, I mean... I don't know if that's a good example or not, but that's something that definitely baffled me, was that I was just trying to engage in positive behavior and it was seen as negative by someone else. So,
no, I get that. I know what you're saying. Well, why two other people doing something completely off and not concerning them? That's the problem we have right now too, and both sides of the I guess you can say, of that spectrum, where. Without getting too political, there's always the right side who sees the left doing things that's offensive to them. To concern them at all, it's offensive. and there's the left side saying right people do the right side do things that they find offensive if it concerns them at all, and then none whatsoever. Yeah.
It like as far as like I don't want to get political or anything because I don't think
I know it's hard.
It's hard. Like people, I don't like listening to that shit. I don't think.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just gonna say humanity in general. So like there's no like left or right or whatever the words you want to use, right? I think that for us to be successful as a race, we have to get rid of labels on things. Like we have to get rid of the label that you are left thinking or right thinking or, these words that like different parties that you belong to, because it's okay. Like I said before, it's okay to disagree with somebody. It's okay to have a different idea. Like I think laws should be this way. And then someone else says, oh, I think laws should be this way. Cool. So let's talk about a middle ground here. Like how can we make this work for both of us? Or like what's the best solution? But the minute someone else goes, oh, I think law should be that way too, and then you're like, oh, well, you guys belong to that group, you just caused the divide. Like you just made things 100 times harder to solve because you're always going to have that fucking label hanging above their heads now. So even if you were to get to a point where you're like, oh yeah, I think that sounds good, like on a personal level, you could be like, yeah, their idea sounds pretty good. You can't like actually commit publicly to that because they're the other team, so it would look bad for you as this team to say, yes, I agree with that team. Not you have to stick with your own team. It's just such a bad system. Like, I don't know. I think grouping people is bad. I think identity politics, like identifying something so strong that you're willing to lash out about it, and grouping people is just, it's extremely negative.
Well, and unfortunately, it's just human nature to categorize.
It is. Agreed.
Always do it.
But
us versus them mentality is a bad.
Well, I mean, categorizing things okay. Like you can like apples and oranges, right? Like those are just fruit we eat. Like it doesn't affect you like on a social level with an apple and an orange,
Yeah.
But as soon as you do that with people, that's when it becomes bad. Like when you take the same race that everybody is, especially with color. Like I don't see, like I'm extremely not racist. Like I don't see color at all. You know what I mean?
Extremely not
racist, right?
It's not racist, but you're extremely not racist.
So what's going to happen is someone's going to take that soundbite and cut out the word "not," and it's going to be like, "I'm extremely racist," and then I just said it right there, so they can just use that.
Yeah, you just use that, soundbite. But it's just plain like there's different varying degrees of
not racist. I'm extreme. No, I'm just not racist. I don't see like people's color of skin at all. Like it doesn't bother me. It doesn't like it doesn't even like enter my brain, right? But and that's, I think, to me, I don't categorize. So like if there's a group of people together and they're different skin colors, I don't categorize them as that person as this, whatever. They're just all people. And that's the example I'm trying to, like, that's the point I'm trying to meet.
But now you're disregarding, you're moving aside their identity, who they are.
But if they didn't, that shouldn't, like, that's what I'm saying. You shouldn't identify so much with, like, if you have a different skin color, that shouldn't be part of your, like, you shouldn't separate yourself from other people because of that. Like, you can identify with that, that's fine, but don't do it so strongly that you are now separating yourself from your fellow human beings.
Well, see, the point where there's heritage comes involved, and there people are proud to be whatever their heritage is. I mean, I'm Mexican. It's not that I'm like Viva la Raza or anything like that.
Viva what?
Viva la Raza.
What's Viva la Raza?
It's an extremist kind of. It's in some sense it's kind of extremist statement.
You're a nationalist. I see. Okay, I see what's going on here.
One way to view it, it's a bit of extremist, but I know I'm that. I'm not like. I'm said that I'm not proud of it, or I am super proud of it, but I am that thing. But some people will take that all the way, and wave like I can say a couple of Mexicans that make sense. That's fine, because the way of the Mexican flag, and on U.S. soil, and that's whatever you can do that. That's fine. Who cares? It's another country's flag. You're waving respect to them, but when it's like. putting that so far and extreme above all else becomes a problem. And you say, "Oh, I don't see race," and that's in which I don't disagree or say anything bad about that. But those people who like are proud because I'm Mexican and proud, it becomes like you're in some way you're kind of disregarding that. You're kind of devaluing the fact that they feel like they're different and that they're from a special heritage.
Well, no. Maybe
I'm not saying you are. No.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying you are. No.
Well,
that's
I don't.
Just perception.
But
I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm not saying you do that, and you didn't say that. It's just when, and I don't disagree with you. I think there should be no differentiation. We should just be one. Just one thing. That's it.
But I don't think that's what I'm saying. Like if this worked as well as I hope it would, it wouldn't matter. Like I don't think not seeing someone's color of their like if I look at you like when I see you, I don't say, oh, there's Josh the Mexican. You know what I mean? I'm not like,
oh, let me.
I don't do that. But
hey, there's Josh the Mexican.
There's Josh the Mexican again. He's here. He's late again, like usual.
Yeah, that's
I'm kidding.
True. You're wrong though.
but because like I don't think that would matter. Like it's not a negative thing to be like I don't see you as that. Now if you were like, oh dude, I'm having it's a what?
A carne asada?
Are you speaking Russian to me right now?
Carne asada.
No, I'm kidding. I know what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
If you were to have a party, like there was a Mexican, like the Cinco de Mayo or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I'd totally be down for that. Like if you want to celebrate your heritage, I would 100% do that with you.
Everyone celebrates Cinco de Mayo.
Well, or another one. Like maybe there's a holiday I don't know about that is important to, Hispanics.
Latinos. Yeah, there's the whole Kids Day, which isn't really celebrated.
Oh, but you know what I mean. Like if you wanted to celebrate your culture or your heritage or however you feel about that, I would be 100% with you. But I'm not going to classify you every day as that thing. I'm not going to put you into a group because of your difference. I see you as Josh. I see you as a human. I see you as, you are just as worth everything that I'm worth. Like there's no difference between our value. And I think that's what I'm trying to get at is like the way that things are seen is like, oh, your opinions don't matter as much as mine do because you're part of this group. Like you're a D word or an R word. I'm not going to say the actual word.
Yeah,
but you see what I'm saying? Like that. It's just to me the whole idea that they exist is it's just backwards. It's just hurting us more than it's helping.
Well, like the way I see it is that okay, like if you cut me, I'll bleed. If I cut you, you'll bleed.
Nope, because I'm a robot. Gotcha.
Damn.
You don't know nothing about me.
Again.
Error.
But,
no.
It's your last year's script.
I have run out of batteries.
But like anyone you come across to as a human, you cut them, they bleed. Doesn't matter. We're all, in a sense, the human experience is universal to an extent. We all live a life, which again comes with pain and pleasure and all the hardships, whatever. So there's no way. I don't put anyone above me.
I feel the same. Yeah, I feel exactly the same.
So exactly you said what separating us. I get categorizing things makes sense. Yes, I understand that. And then finding people of like-mindedness and wanting to be a group that identifies together, the way can wave a flag together. I get that too. I understand. I mean, subcultures are found. People who didn't want to be where they were at and found people who were like-minded and found something. We're here. Everyone's where they're at because of that. But going so far as to, like we said, to devalue someone else, another group, because they're not here. That's wrong.
But I think that's inherent, unfortunately, in doing that. Like once you go down that path of like us versus them, or even the they, like once you create a they, that they is no longer as not important, but it doesn't hold the same weight as you. You know what I mean? Like that. So yeah, it's I don't know. It's obviously like we're pretending to be experts on this shit, but it's extremely hard. Like it's such a complicated thing that obviously it hasn't been solved yet in society because it's still happening. But
It's gonna happen.
We're not gonna figure it out. Like,
Until we hive mind, until the great comes and or
dude,
squib
like
over
20
there.
years from now, when we're all plugged into VR machines and like we don't leave our houses anymore, maybe
We're
it'll
all
be better
gonna-
than.
we're all gonna be anime girls.
Speak for
Virtual
yourself,
world.
Josh. I'm masculine, so I'm not gonna.
There's anyways. But because we've been going on a lot longer than we, let's do one thing that's kind of related back to what we first talked about was games. What games are you playing right now?
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, I was thinking about switching to this. So, strangely enough, I've been playing Terraria again.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, remember, like we were talking about how like certain games define certain parts of your life, right?
Uh huh. Yep.
So, when I met my girlfriend, like we were trying to find games to play together, and Minecraft and Terraria were two games that we could both like. The barrier to entry was low enough that I wouldn't get upset, like if we died or something. You know, like I mean, like I wouldn't get frustrated, so we could play together, and it was fun. But we ended up getting super addicted to Terraria and just like spending hours and hours and hours playing it, and I just have such vivid, awesome memories of playing that game, and it's one of the few games that has been so magical playing. Like I love that word magical. Like that's how games are to me. They're magical because they take you to a time and place that you could not be in your life. You know.
Yeah.
And Terraria was one of the fewer games that now that I'm an adult that I could zone out on. Like I could play that game for hours and forget about the world. Like we like, you know, it'd be 12 o'clock at midnight and we're like, oh shit, like we got to go to bed. Like we're still playing.
Yeah.
So I think I wanted to recapture that a little bit lately for some reason. So I've been playing it again, and it's not as magical as it was the first time, but it's definitely
Of course. Yeah.
I would recommend it. It's a damn good game if you want to just burn some time and also feel adventurous. What are you playing?
So, me myself personally, what I've been playing lately, a lot of mobile games actually. It's easy because you have your phone with you always. You can play a few things while you're taking a dump, or in between certain events, waiting for something to happen. Sometimes I play. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I put my at a red light, whatever. That's bad. I shouldn't do that. But I play Skullgirls. I'm a big fan of the fighting game, and there's a game for them, and it has gotcha element. Gotcha is like random drop stuff where you put money in and stuff comes out. But it's in-game currency stuff or packs, whatever you can earn through achievements, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I only spent $10 so far, which is very good.
God.
I'm very impressed with myself.
We'll talk about that probably next time. I now that you brought that up, we'll talk about like I'm very strongly opinionated on mobile games. So
the advent of mobile gaming is a topic I had on my list from a while ago, and that's something we could talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next time. Yeah, I have a lot to say. Yeah.
God. I've been playing that. But as far as like sit down lately, a lot of my friends got Street Fighter 5 because it's like $8. So we all got it, and we're playing that kind of, sort of. But a game I've been really like itching to play, and like I think about it, like right now, I want to play it right now. Is Deep Rock Galactic.
Oh yeah, I played the alpha of that.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, it's a good game. I was thinking about picking it up. Have you got it already?
Yes, I got it already. And like you said earlier, it's early access. It is.
Yeah,
so
I
know you're against that stuff.
But for that one, I actually, like I said, I played the alpha of it before it was even on like early access on Steam. And it hooked me enough during the alpha where I felt like it had potential. You know what I mean? Like as long as they keep developing it and they keep adding to it, and I think they seem like a company who's not going to abandon it. So
I feel the same way. They're adding stuff. It's still very bare bones as it is right now. I really feel like there's a lot more they can add.
How much is it? Is it 30?
It's $30.
Yeah.
I bought it was on sale, and I got like the deluxe pack where like it just literally says, "Hey, you want to give us more money? You can now."
Okay.
And all it gave me was gold armor, and it just proves that I was a like early like super founder. Oh, is Darksiders on sale? Okay, I get that later.
What is?
Darksiders.
Oh, did you see
which
it on
I'm
the
actually
thing?
I'm super stoked about the third one.
Yeah,
so I love the first one. Oh my god, that's such a great game. And I was sad when THQ went under. It was the worst news.
Yeah,
They
dude, I
did
played the
Rugrats
first
the
one a
game.
lot. They did Rugrats?
The first Rugrats game. They did Rugrats.
I didn't know that.
THQ did a lot of crazy weird shit. But yeah, Deep Rock Galactic. So I'm playing that a lot, and a lot of it's just solo missions though. I can see how fun it would be as a multiplayer because I'm taking the lower difficulty versions of them because it'd be just too hard alone. But right now it comes to the same formula where you jump down, you look for minerals, you do a swarm or a wave thing happens once or twice. Depending where you're at, there's different environmental hazards. There's like toxic radioactive crystals in one.
Yep.
There's the sand that blasts you, the air, the wind that just pushes you around, so it's hard to navigate. Or the magma because it's fucking lava burns, whatever. And that's cool, but they try to mix it up. Right now, I feel like it's hard. Because I'm looking at it as because every game I play, I always play as a single player experience, even though it is built for co-op. Because if I play a single player game, I expect a lot of it, and I expect to be challenged every time I learn something new. That being said, I play a lot of grindy games like Monster, which is just the same fight over and over and over and over again until you get along and you do the same thing again with someone else. But because it has like that kind of that crazy cool atmosphere, because you're a dwarf, your character talks and it says things, and its own personality. There's like the head of comms contacting you, saying different things. And hey, you're a dwarf, like we're all dwarves, and that's cool. and exactly what I want to do. I love mining games or games you gather stuff.
Yeah,
I used to play a lot of Ark, and an Ark all I would do is just gather. All I would do, and nothing else. I would just gather metal all day. So hey, we found a Dugo Dino. Like, want to raid? I gotta get more metal.
Like, no, I gotta mine this rock over here.
I wouldn't even do anything with it. I just put it in like the chest, and they would use it. My tribe would use it, and I would just keep getting more.
Oh, you're the perfect person to play with because I'm like, hey, Josh, we need some more of this. You're like, oh, okay, I got it.
And I'm like, you already got some. Boom! It's the chest.
Yes!
Like thousands. That's my shit. So that's like Deep Rock Galactic fuels that. And it's cool because you keep exploring. Because once you're done, like find more things. But there's only so much to find. That's the problem with me.
Yeah, I feel like what obviously for the alpha, like there was just the base game, like there wasn't much to do. But I feel like for it to be successful, there has to be departures on the way to your main quest. You know what I mean? Like, because right when I played it, you basically had to fill a quota. Like you had to get 100 of this mineral, 40 of this mineral, and then you go back to the ship and you get out of there, right?
Same thing.
So they need to add something to detour you on the way to doing that, or something else that you can, because
it entice me.
Exactly. Maybe rescue another miner that's down there, or maybe there's like a base you can rescue and you can like set up turrets and defend the base, or just something like something spicy, something to spice it up.
Well, they added new kinds, I guess. From you added different. You can gather eggs now. So
yeah, but it's still gathering though. It's still the same mechanic.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
There's two other quests I haven't tried. It's Salvage and I think it's called Fortify. I haven't done those yet because they're higher level and harder. And as a miner, which I actually like. Now a lot of people kind of might disagree with, like, you want to feel powerful as you level up and do more things. And with this game right now as it is, they have a perk system, which I don't like it that much, but I don't mind that because when I try harder and harder things, I don't want it to be because my character's souped up. I got the new weapons.
Right.
It's maxed out. I got my armor maxed out. No, it's because I have gained enough experience as a person.
Right.
Yeah, my skill has gone better. I know now if I get an alert of a storm's coming, I have X amount of time to do so much to prepare, and that's kind of cool because they don't tell you that. So that's neat. I like how it keeps you leveled. Like, you're a miner and it's risky because in real life mining is risky. You can die. That happens.
Mm-hmm. And you're not the like, there's an assault character, right, or a commando, whatever it's called. Or
yeah, there's a gunner, there's a scout, engineer, and so you have different classes. I mostly, as a solo player, I play a scout because it's easy to get in and out of situations with that. I play every single character. So if you're in a solo, it's easy. Yeah, well, yeah. I won't get too deep into it, but that game is really fun. It captures my interest of digging holes because I dig a lot of holes as a kid.
It's
When I,
like I said, if they added like even like just like that fortify mission might be where like if you go and defend, like if the whole thing is just like find a base, defend it, and then like almost like a turret defense or like a wave based thing, I would fucking buy it in a heartbeat because I'm a sucker for those types of games or like defense games. So I'll keep my eye on it because I liked it when I played it. I just want there to be more. So hopefully they'll.
Yeah, they're lacking really, I think, visuality as a person. You make your dwarf view. There's some cosmetics and stuff, but doesn't really give me the this is my dwarf feeling kind of thing.
So you want like maybe like a talent system or something like customization or?
Let's say there's a talent system, but it's pretty much geared towards one class or the other. Because there's some perks that will only affect a individual class versus other
so
classes.
you're kind of like shoot into that class then, like if you go that way, yeah.
Pretty much. And shit, again, it's early. There's still, but it's super fun. One of my favorite games of all time was $1. It's called Miner Dig Deep, and you're a miner, and all you did was dig deep. It's a 2D. It was on Xbox Live Arcade. It's like $1, and it's this 2D thing, just kind of. It kind of actually reminds us of what you were talking about earlier. Your voxel.
Oh yeah. How's that going, by the way? You have that code.
I've been watching this video. So it takes me a bit for sure, but I'll work on that. What you do, definitely, and hopefully get somewhere with it. Especially when school picks up again, I'll get more forced into doing more coding projects and whatnot. Yeah, that's the games I'm playing right now. Pretty much is Deep Rock Galactic. This game. Oh, Hat in Time. I play Hat in Time too. That game is.
I want to get that looks like a Mario 64ish kind of like game, right? Like platformer, like a 3D platformer.
It reminds me a lot of Psychonauts, and I love Psychonauts.
Yeah, Psychonauts is sick. Yeah, I like that game too.
It's like we said, Mario 64. For platformer collectathon, but there's not much of this game for collectathons. It's more like get to the end of the level, which is like has its own little story, a thing to it, which is cool. I enjoyed it a lot.
I might check that out too. I definitely, like I said, I want to keep my eye on Deep Rock and see if they beef it up. Do you get it? Beef it up? Because your name is Beef.
That's me.
Why is it beefy? That sounds.
Do you want to know why it's beefy? Actually,
I do. Actually, it makes me gag saying that. But
so way back in the day, I would say about maybe 6 years ago, probably a little more than that now, maybe 8. I was a big channer, if you know what that means.
You were a what?
A channer.
4channer?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Huge 4channer.
Like troll and B and stuff like that.
I would just lurk. I would never post.
Lurk and B. Wow.
Just lurk. Well, actually, B. A lot of time in the B. And this guy posted again. There's ADG in there, amateur developer, or game developer general.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, 2 games came from that thing that I actually played a lot. Risk of Rain was one of them. He posted a lot. He's big for that guy who made that game was big for him. And then this game called Gimbal, which my name comes from. As I see, he was the game usually costs so much money at $15, but he's selling to us for $5 with secret codes, whatever. Cool, we'll do it. I grabbed 2 copies, give to my friend, and we played. And once you log into the game, it automatically gives you a name, which you can change then and there. They said Beefy Well. I was like, I didn't know you can change this.
You're like, that's me. I'm Beefy.
and it's funny because the when you play in the game, it's like a top-down aerial combat game. And you have a ship and you zoom around, you fight other people. And it's team-based or just usually team-based. And the NPCs had a similar naming, algorithm, where it was like adjective, noun. So there was like Hyper Tiger or Blue Shoe, just like weird names like that, right? So Beefy Well fits that description. Okay, and I would play, and I wouldn't chat in the game. He was going boom, 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 and I'll go, and I wasn't like good, but I did fairly well. And someone commented on the thing was like, that God damn it, that Beefy Well NPC gets me every time.
Oh, they thought you were an NPC?
Yeah. And I would play like, different matches, different people, and it became like a mythos a little bit. Like the beefy one NPC doesn't behave like a normal NPC. Like, how did you get that AI to work that way? Because I'll do weird things or like do tactics that were more advanced, whatever, than NPC would think of, like fake outs or going around the long way.
That's awesome.
And so yeah, that became a myth. But then one day I actually figured out how to alt chat, and I was like, hey, it was like, what the fuck?
What? The NPC's talking.
And that's why I became. I kept the name Beefy Well because it sounded cool, and then Beefy became. Because when I put Beefy Whale when I go play like Destiny back when the first one came out, you know, people would read my name and they'd always shorten it. They would call me Whale. Hey Whale, can you go cover this point? And I was like, don't call me Beefy Whale. That's my whole name. So just Beefy sounds better than Whale.
If I wanted to be called Whale, it would just be Whale.
Yeah. So I just cut down to Beefy.
That's awesome.
You know, and that's why I'm called Beefy. It's funny because my friend who I met a long time after this is his name is Disco Viper, which is the same nomenclature as mine. So it's just funny.
Same.
And people call
I get you.
Yeah, like it's adjective noun.
Yeah.
And people call him Viper, and it's like, just call me Disco.
We never get what we want, do we?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then how about yours name? How about that? Why is it X4? Oh wait, is that a Doom?
Well, the name is it's Zanfi.
Okay.
And it was I used to do electronic music back in the day.
Tell me more.
And I was making an album, and it basically is Xander Phi, so like hi-fi, you know, like high fidelity. And I just took my first name, made it Xander. So Xander Phi was the artist name, and then I just shortened it to Zanfi. So.
Well.
I'll show you some of my. I'll let you listen.
Drop that EP, man.
I think to be honest, like 2 of the tracks are pretty good. Like I like them. You know, they're probably not objectively good, but I like them.
SoundCloud, whatever. SoundCloud's a thing, you know.
I'd have to find the other. I think I did like 6 tracks total. I don't know, something like that.
You can get SoundCloud famous and then get hooked on drugs, and die. Famous.
Oh shit! Wait, so I get SoundCloud famous, then I do drugs and die?
Yep.
Okay, I gotta go. I'm gonna start this right now.
I forget what I was referencing, but I was referencing a particular person.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, cool.
Are you talking about Avicii?
No, but that he did die recently.
Yeah, he did die. Who are you talking about?
It's not Lil Peep.
Who the fuck is Lil Peep?
It's some no-name SoundCloud rapper. Well, I mean, some name SoundCloud rapper, and he ended up ODing.
I don't think it because he got SoundCloud famous. I think he just OD'd because he's an idiot.
Well, there's that, but he had a huge fan base. People were sad that.
Lil Peep did.
But some people think it was murder.
Oh, the plot thickens.
Because there's a particular girl who joined the groupie who was new and this and that. I don't know. I'm not into it.
Yeah, you're getting deep into this. You need to
We're changing the topic to conspiracy hour.
Yeah. All right, dude. I think
We got a lot. It's way more than we thought we were gonna do.
Yeah, this is good. I had fun. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the VOD from Twitch or if you want to do it, we can splice. Fuck, I can't even. Okay, we're gonna cut this part out. No, we're just gonna spruce it up a little bit, add some like maybe intro and stuff like that, and then we can put it on YouTube as its own. Cool. That was good. That was good sound effects. Yeah, and then do you want to? We'll talk about this later, but I'm thinking like maybe one a week or something like that. We can do this or whenever we feel like it. So.
Absolutely. That sounds good. I know people were interested from work that wanted to join in actually today right now, and I told them that it's a one-off right now for the time being.
Oh, they want to join in on the podcast.
Yeah, they want to join in.
Yeah, we can do
right
that
now.
As long as it doesn't get to like we're not talking over each other too much and overcrowded. But
yeah. The four is the highest I would recommend. Which I've seen.
4 is probably the max. So.
Yeah.
All right, dude, that was fun. We'll get this online somewhere, post it, and then we will do this again soon.
Cool.
I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow bright and early.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. See ya.